So before we start, I would love to give you all an overview of InnovateHer and who we are. So we're a social enterprise and our aim is to inspire girls aged 12 to 16 to consider careers in STEM. So we create an impact in these early years by delivering an innovative 8-week schools programme led by industry role models, some of which are on this panel, thank you very much, and some are actually in the audience. So updates on InnovateHer and what we do. So in the last academic year, we have delivered our programmes in 16 schools. This has reached over 320 girls and we've worked with over 50 industry mentors. Out of the 16 schools, 12 of the programmes delivered were UX based and centred around tech for good. We're really aiming to inspire the girls. We're boosting their confidence. We're trying to give them real life problems to solve and show them industry role models. Over 90% of the girls who've been through our programme say they are more confident about pursuing a career in technology and are considering taking STEM-based GCSEs. This academic year, we are delivering 40 schools programmes across Manchester, Liverpool and London. So we currently have 20 members that support our network and support the schools programmes. And if you think that anyone here, your company, can support our values and support our mission, then please get in touch. We have Sarah, Emily, Andrew at the front here, and we have a stand at the back. So if you're interested in mentoring, then it's such a great opportunity and it is so rewarding, and we can guarantee that you will have a blast. So, now on to the panel. So as our network is the younger generation, the panel today is all about their futures and how everyone has a different story and a different path. So this is the message that we really want to get across, and the fact that pivoting through life is so key, and that through life you'll be hit with things that in your career that will cause a change, and it's about how you adapt and obviously enjoying the work that you're doing. So first of all, we're just going to do brief introductions, if everyone could just say who you are and obviously who you're working for at the moment.
So hi, I'm Jess. I'm head of UX at Computer Love, and that just means I get involved in lots of different research things.
Hi, I'm Clara, and I'm a user researcher working currently for AUP it's a tech for good agency, so it's really cool.
Hi, I'm Sue. I'm a UX designer and I'm currently working at the BBC in the voice department.
I'm Danny. I'm an interaction designer at Northumbria University and I'm currently doing a design placement as a UX designer now.
Hi, I'm Stephanie and I'm currently a UX designer at the Group.
Thank you very much, everyone. I was going to ask the guys what was the weirdest job they ever had as a bit of an icebreaker. But we're going to cut straight to the good stuff. So let's talk about how you got into UX, and was it an easy path for you to take? If you don't mind, Sue, I would love to start with yourself. Just so you're aware, Sue is going to nip off at about 4 o'clock, so she's not just abandoning us and just giving up. No.
Thanks. So yeah, my journey into UX really, I've done lots of things. I started off studying civil engineering and then decided that wasn't for me, and then I took the traditional route of graphic design, worked in various agencies, and then I worked for myself for about 14 years. I had a lot of my own direct clients and also went and did some freelance work. And then towards the end of that, it enabled me to be able to drop my kids off at school and pick the kids up from school, and that worked really well for me. And then towards the end, I got really bored and a bit lonely as well, because it was quite a lonely existence. So then I was offered a really good opportunity as a design manager for a high street retailer, so went straight into managing a team of like 8 to 10 people, and that was really interesting. Learned absolutely loads. Was there for a couple of years, and then just really felt creatively stale. Was a bit bored of what I was doing. Didn't really get any joy out of it anymore. So when I started looking for another position in the traditional graphic design role, I found that the skill sets had changed. They wanted people to be able to code. They wanted people to be able to to do animation, motion, film, and the wages, the salaries were coming down. So I was like, nah, this isn't for me really. I need to, what am I going to do for the next 20 years that's going to really excite me? So I did some research, and then I came across UX design, and I just thought, wow, this is for me. So I invested in a 12-month course online, and yeah, that was it really. I decided that's what I wanted to do, and I flung myself into every single meetup going.
So you told me obviously you went to so many network events and you managed to strike up a conversation.
Yeah, I did. It was, I knew that someone was going to come and knock on my door and say, here's this most amazing, fantastic junior UX position, because they were just so rare at the time. So yeah, it was a case of getting out there, networking with people. I think that UX Manchester was just a massive catalyst for that, and I think we've all been there when we don't know anyone and you walk into a room and you know, you feel very self-conscious, but I just threw myself into it really, and the connections that I've made and the networks that I've made have just been unbelievable. And I think from one of those events, I got chatting to a creative director of the BBC who, you know, it did kind of help me when I learned there was a job available and went for interviews and things like that. So yeah, it's just been invaluable, like, and I've made some really great friends and things. So yeah, it's been, so that's really how I've got into UX.
And then, should we move on to Clara? So originally, I come from Brazil. That's where my weird accent is from. So I went to film school, and which was really cool, and I started working with video, but eventually thought that I wasn't actually, I'm a very people person. I know that sounds really cliche, but I felt like I wasn't really talking to people enough, even though I was working with video and interviewing loads of people. I don't know, it was just, it wasn't for me. The lifestyle was really weird as well, like not enough work-life balance, not very nice. And then I came to Manchester to do my master's at Hyper Island, which is a beautiful place where unicorns live. If you don't know about it, you should definitely research Hyper Island because it's brilliant. I did my master's there, and I learned all about design thinking and user-centered design, which were things that I don't know, unconsciously had already started implementing in my work, but didn't know that there was a name for it. So it was really cool to get a name and associate all of this vocabulary together. But whilst I was doing my master's, I decided that I wanted to do my master's thesis in education, which was the field that I was deeply starting to get passionate about. So I did my thesis, and I went into a school, and I stayed there for 2 months, and I decided, well, this is what I want to do. I want to be in schools, because there's no cooler environment than this. I mean, you deal with young people all day, and they're the most inspiring people that you can ever find. I mean, seriously, they teach you something every day. So I thought, right, what's the best way that I can work with education? I'll become a teacher. So I did a PGC in art and design, and it was the hardest year of my life. It's very, very difficult in secondary art and design, and it was beautiful but very hard. And at the end of it, I had to come to terms with the fact that even though I was deeply passionate about education, and I absolutely adored speaking to young people every single day, I couldn't do it as a full-time job, which was kind of heartbreaking, but got through it, found an amazing way of doing it otherwise with InnovateHer, which is fabulous. Then I finished the PGC, and I thought, well, what the hell am I doing with my life? Because I don't know. And then I have a brilliant friend who said, well, my company, who is here as well in the audience, is looking for UX researchers. And I went, and you can do the job. I mean, you did Hyper, so you should go and talk to them. And I did. And fortunately, their current research project was in education. So they wanted someone that could speak the lingo of the children. So I was like, yeah, I can do that, cool. So it was like a brilliant first step, and they took a major chance on me, which was brilliant, because eventually 2 months into doing UX research, my boyfriend looked at me and said, wow, you really found yourself in this job, haven't you? And then yeah, I have actually, and I hadn't stopped to think really, but I felt deeply in love with doing research, and I found that it could be a way of me doing good for people if I focused on services and products that did good, like tech for good. So eventually I found an agency that does only tech for good projects, which is fabulous, and now I'm working for them as a UX researcher. So yeah, awesome. Very, very happy after a few years.
And then Danny, so Danny is studying a degree, I don't know if you heard, in interactive design at Northumbria University, which is very, very cool, because obviously we go into schools and we try to encourage them to consider careers in technology. So it's class to hear about Danny's degree, and obviously with Danny studying a placement in Madeline. Am I telling your story? A little bit. Okay, I'm just going to let you chat. I'm going to let you chat.
So I'm doing a degree in interaction design at Northumbria. It's more or less a kind of a degree in UX, but it kind of goes across loads of different planes, like interactive design, kind of interface design, and then goes through all the kind of design thinking and everything, and then also more kind of experiential design, so we'll do like projection mapping and stuff like that to try and kind of open us up to more things than just pressing a button on the screen. But it wasn't until about maybe a year ago or so that I even really knew that I could be a UX designer as a job. Even for quite a way into my degree, I'd still never really heard of UX as a field to actually work in. Growing up I wanted to be loads of things like engineer or computer programmer or professional scooter rider, so there's loads of things. But I think in the last kind of year, I realised that all the kind of little subjects I picked kind of come together in UX and kind of make a lot of sense, because I did like business and A-level, psychology, maths and graphics, and I kind of found that all those things kind of really merged together really well. Because I kind of just
So good.
Yeah, I kind of justified business and maths as what employee doesn't like business and maths, that'll get me a job eventually. But I've kind of found that actually they all kind of make a lot of sense, and it's really helped me out.
And then Stephanie.
Hello, so I'm fairly new to UX, but how I got into it was I did a fine art degree, which was like one of the many things that I've done when I was 18 that I regret. Because when I graduated, no jobs. Shocker, absolute shocker. So after that, I went to Shillington College and I did graphic design. Woo, there's a woo, there it is, that's from you. And then after I finished there, I've been working as like a print and digital designer for the past 5 years. And just recently, in January, I started a UX diploma at the UX Design Institute. And that's been really cool. That finished this summer. And then just this week I've got my first UX job. So I feel like a bit of a charlatan, so yeah, that's me so far.
And then Jess.
So I started out thinking I was going to be a designer because I didn't even know UX was a thing. So I went to university, started a course called Design for Digital Media, and learned very quickly that there was a lot of people much more skilled in UI than I was, and was kind of looking at their stuff and thinking, God, I'm shit at this. So I had a placement in my second year that was like, go out to industry and actually get a feel for what it's like to actually work somewhere. And I chose strategy because I was like, okay, I'm not that great at design, so let's go down the strategy route and have a look at that kind of thing. And I just realised that I missed doing the creating of a thing. Like, strategy at that point in time was very much desk research, and you didn't actually get to see what happened with any of that stuff. It would move on to another team. And I just missed all of that creation. So when that kind of finished, I went on to my final year at university and got to work with another agency in a final major project. And the bit that I realised I really cared about was like how systems come together and how you can create consistency and actually start thinking about how do people actually sign up to things, and then what's that experience if you're monitoring things as you go through. Still didn't know what UX was at this point, so I was like just making this up as I went along. I was like, oh, it's systems thinking, that's a thing. And basically I got into UX because Manchester was a place at that time that was just starting all of these different meetups, and it was coining the phrase UX, and I didn't know what that was, so I found out about it. It was like, oh, this sounds really cool, because that actually brings the understanding of problems together and creating a system, and and that sounds like something I should definitely go for. So with the company that allowed me to do my final major project, I just went really cheeky and kind of said, I'm really into this UX thing, any chance you'd give me a job in that? And I was lucky enough that they actually did, and that's pretty much how all of that started.
Thank you, everyone. I think the main message here is that, you know, adapting to change is so important, and you're allowed to change your mind, and the fact that being proactive and going out there and getting it is really what everyone here has done. And I think that real message about allowing yourself to change your mind as well is really, really key. So based on your path, what would you say personally is like a quality or trait that you've really focused on developing in UX and like really has changed sort of how you work within a team? Who would like to go first?
So one of the main things for me that I've really found has changed kind of my way of thinking has been when I was like a digital and graphic designer. My thinking was, well, I'm the kind of one who's creating this, so I know best. And learning more about UX has just been so insightful. It's been like a change in perspective, and it's really shifted my way of thinking and to not being so self-obsessed and thinking of the user and just having someone in mind who's going to be using this product, and they're not necessarily going to be exactly like how I am. So how can I make the best product for everyone?
Thing for me was how to give and receive feedback and learn about
So difficult.
Yes,
I think anyone in here can agree,
Yeah.
giving and receiving feedback.
because receiving feedback is it can be very deeply uncomfortable, but it will always be good, no matter what they say. I can remember like one of the first feedbacks that I got, like in the terms that I do today, was think more before you speak, and I was like, soz. But it just made me, I think, a better team player, because now, hopefully, I think I do think more before I speak. So I think I'm better at also giving feedback. And because design and UX is such a team sport, if you are a better feedback giver and receiver, I think it just makes for a far better experience for the whole team. So definitely, that's my main thing.
Thank you very much. Lindsay?
There's a couple of things, I think, similar to Stephanie. You're not designing what you like, you're designing what works. And for me personally, like listening and observation skills, like listening to people and what they're actually saying. And also, for me, it's okay to say, I don't know the answer to this, but I'll go and find out, but I don't know. And I think working in the voice space at the moment is quite exciting, but we don't know the answers. And it's okay to say, I don't know this yet. Like, that's quite liberating to be in a space like that, rather than, I know from like my past jobs, you feel like especially when you're managing people and stuff, like you feel you need to have all the answers to everything. So that's been quite liberating. So there's been a few things really, yeah.
Jess? Sorry, that was my fault.
It's fine. So there's a couple of things I think, like, you guys have pretty much covered a lot of them that I think are really important, but like listening is absolutely key for anybody. Like, if you can listen, you can then empathise and actually understand the situation that someone else has been in. But then when you actually start to use that stuff, I think it's learning to accept that you can be wrong. Like, you'll make all of these assumptions, bring your own biases to a situation, and actually once you put that in front of somebody, that could be completely wrong, and you have to kind of revisit the drawing board and start again. So I think, yeah, that's the...
I think mine was very similar to the taking criticism and taking good feedback and everything. I think when you're at a kind of college, it's kind of, design this poster about trains or something that's very kind of ridiculous. And then once you get to uni, your lecturer rips into your work completely for the first time, it takes you aback a bit. So I think kind of learning to not take it so personally and not see your work as just kind of go look after it and make sure that everyone likes it the same as you do. It's kind of learning that it's not so much you're designing something to look pretty, it's more of a solution. And so if that works, then that's what I'm really.
Thank you so much. And then, how would you say personally you support your team or colleagues, and what do you think makes like a really solid
give it a go. So, yes. So, the things that I try and do when I think about helping a team is I try to basically explain kind of the situations that you see whenever you do research and actually build empathy with everybody. So really focus on kind of like, this is actually somebody and these are the life experiences that they might have, and really turn that into something that helps the teams to make decisions off the back of them kinds of things. So it could be anything from like a behavioural profile to an experience map, whatever that might be. Just help teams to understand kind of the things that you've managed to find out so that you can actually make product decisions as you go forward. But I also think, to some of the talks earlier, like, identify that you don't know everything and you can't solve everything on your own. And I constantly try and get involved with people from all kinds of different disciplines, because actually they can bring a completely different perspective and help you understand the problem so much better. So it's kind of like really collaborate with people who will bring that different perspective to things that you're going to do.
I think for me it'd be kind of what makes a good team is kind of understanding who your team are as people. So I think it's easy to say like, oh, no, like, be collaborative or kind of be respectful of the team. But I think when you kind of really understand who your team are as people, you can like, play to those strengths. So if someone is being put on the spot, don't try and get them to share their ideas by putting them on the spot and thinking that you're like giving them a chance to share their ideas. Really kind of play to who they are as people and do what kind of works for them. So if someone's like that, then try to do like a collaborative activity where everyone's sharing ideas. They don't feel like everyone's eyes are on them. So kind of just play to who they are as people rather than what you think, oh, give them a chance.
So just starting at the Hook group, it's been really quite eye-opening how welcoming and how lovely everyone's been. They've been like really receptive, and they seem to be quite focused on having like a really good team culture. And I think because everyone shares that role, like across the team, everyone's got that same sort of vision. I think that's been really kind of instrumental in making something that just feels so progressive. So we've got like team away days planned. We do like bi-weekly catch-ups where everyone kind of dials in and gives like a little update of where they're up to. So you're never kind of working solitary with your blinkers on. You are kind of aware of the work that everyone else is doing. So yeah, it sounds quite cliche, but just collaboration.
I think for me is you can never over-communicate. At the moment, I'm working across like 4 squads, and there's lots of different, we're trying to come up with different solutions for different things. We're also working remotely a lot at the moment. And it's just, we've been actually using the Slack statuses about even if we've just gone for our lunch, just to show courtesy to our co-workers that, you know, I'm not ignoring you, I'm just on my lunch, or I'll be back at 3, or, you know, it's...
Yeah, did you tell me like you have an etiquette for, was it for Slack or was it for...
It was for Slack, and we've been using Zoom a lot, video conferencing, so we kind of come up with some loose, not guidelines, I don't want to say guidelines, but, you know, like, let's be courteous, you know, this is how we all, like, we all added to it, how we think we should be act, you know, and show courtesy, and just over-communicate. And I'm trying to coordinate work streams going on at the moment into one main work stream. So yeah, just constantly, I was going to say constantly talking, but just making sure that everybody is aware of what's going on in each other's work streams, and just over-communicate. I just think you can't over-communicate, yeah.
Thank you. I think building up on that, I find it very important at the start of a project, or even as the project goes along, even more importantly, is just recap why we're doing this and what is the purpose, and making sure that everyone knows the values behind what is going on. And if everyone is can I say that? You know, everyone is oriented through the same sort of set of values, then it should limit miscommunication and misunderstandings. And building on what you said, Daniel, as well, we did check-ins and check-outs. So at the start of a day, we would check in and everyone would say how they're feeling. And so you would get a feel if someone is now not feeling themselves today, or if someone has high energy, everyone would balance themselves and sort of behave in a way that everyone felt comfortable. And check out would be very good to see if we actually managed to do it. So yeah, I think it was a brilliant way to support everyone.
Thank you, that was brilliant, thanks. And how do you keep yourself motivated and fresh? So keep yourself in your industry, hyped by what's going on.
I'm just so chuffed to be doing the job that I do now. And if you'd have told me like 3 or 4 years ago that I'd be working at the BBC and working in the voice department, I just would have laughed in your face. You know, I feel very lucky, but I haven't been lucky because I've worked my socks off to change my career. I've invested in myself.
You deserve it.
I've had to take a step back to take a step forward. So, you know, I couldn't have done that without Sandra and Cheesy. I had to take a pay cut. I went down to a junior role, you know, which has all been fantastic. So I stay motivated because I absolutely love what I'm doing. Like I love my job, and like I say, if you just asked me a couple of years ago what I'd be doing, I wouldn't have ever said this. So for me, it's quite easy. It's quite easy to do. Yeah.
I think for me it was really finding a place that I really wanted to work and that it made sense getting up every morning and going there, really. And you know, it took a few tries, but I found it. You know, here in Sheffield, where I worked before, and in Leeds now. So I think it was spending a long time trying to find that place. Yeah, and I stay fresh by dancing. Twice a day. Yes.
Love it.
Which is,
Yes, but
I'll tell you about it later. No, it sounds very suspicious now. It's just dance fit in Cholton. It's fabulous, actually. Yeah, we should all go. But it's actually really good because it clears your mind and it gives you a clear perspective on whatever you're trying to solve. So on the next day, you have a really good perspective. Yeah.
That's a tough act to follow. So I kind of stay fresh and like really like learning about like what's new and upcoming in design and UX by stalking people on Twitter. So I just try and follow as many people who are like in the tech industry, but I try and follow people who are maybe sort of like at the forefront of it, and people who are like quite controversial in the sort of tech space and who have like a different ethnicity to me or a different gender to me. Just kind of so your social feed is as kind of different and as sort of varied as possible. So you're not kind of in that mindset of, well, I'm me and I'm female and I'm white, so I'm going to surround myself with people who are also female and white, if that makes sense. So just trying to make it very diverse and make it something quite interesting.
I think for me, staying motivated is pretty easy at the moment because I'm still at uni. I'm doing placements, so everything's brand new. Every day something new approaches or something new kind of challenge or something I might encounter before. If that's actually just like a UX challenge or just like a general workplace challenge, like the first proper job. So I think when everything's so brand new, like 2 weeks ago, my boss approached me and said, "Do you want to be on a panel about how I got into UX?" I didn't even know I was in UX at the moment, so but here I am. So no, it's been great at the moment.
thank you, Sue.
So I think from a motivation perspective, as UX people, we always ask kind of like why and what's going on, and like you're just inquisitive anyway, and trying to find out them things is kind of just motivating. You're continually learning regardless, and I think that's kind of what really keeps it going. But I think the thing that I want the most out of things is like try something new. Like we did at work, we did a gifting experiment a couple of weeks ago where we're like, how are you ever going to observe somebody gifted? Like you'll never be there to see that moment, what happens. So we created this really random contextual observation thing where we got everybody in the office to give each other a gift and everybody was watching, and it was really strange, but it was experimental, and we learned so much from it about how people gift, and it was just by pushing something that you kind of know as a method, but trying it in a different way and seeing whether it works or not, and just trying actually is the thing that keeps me most motivated, because I can continually learn and build on the methods as well.
Love that. So the last question, it's kind of a difficult one actually, but what kinds of skills do you think we should be focusing on developing within the next generation of talent? What should be taught in schools? did say it was tough.
Well, I've been thinking about this
Oh, I know
for
it.
a few years now. So, learning to learn, or learning how you learn, I think is so important. If every kid and every young person goes out of school knowing how they learn and what their learning process is, and liking to learn, really enjoying learning for the sake of learning and not learning for their GCSEs. Preaching, sorry, can't help it. Really, I think it's very important. So going through processes and just instead of drilling content, really making them understand, or helping them understand rather, how they learn and what gives them joy. Really a bit Marie Kondo there, but like really what do they appreciate learning and how they like to do it, if it's through video, if it's reading, if it's experiential, if it's debating, if it's whatever, really. If they leave school knowing how they like to learn, I'd say that it would make life a bit easier, and if they change their mind 100 times after school of what they want to do in life, it's okay, because they will know how to learn whatever they need to learn further on. So, I think so.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. I recently obviously joined InnovateHer, and one of the program managers got me to do, ex-teacher, got me to do an online assessment of how I learn. And I only just found that out when I'm 30. So, yeah, and it helped me so much. It was so eye-opening to realise that I was a visual learner, and like some of the courses and modules that I've done in the past, that I'd never really kind of adapted to that style of learning. So thank you guys.
I think better industry links in schools. I think to kind of give some context about why we are learning what we're learning. I think this is the obvious question about why I'm not learning maths. I've got a calculator that everyone seems to ask. But I think if there was better kind of more of an effort to actually bring in people from industry into schools. I know I, from a much younger age, would have known, like, I'm learning graphics now, what can I actually do with that in the future? Like, I can tell that, like, a mitochondria is the power out of the cell. I don't know what that means really at this point, but you know, I think just applying some more context to things would then kind of prepare people to give them a much better idea when they get to that college, you know, what I actually want to do in the future. Not that I have all these useful facts I know, but I don't actually know what to do with them.
So true. At the end of the program with InnovateHer, the girls in the last session future map, but it's not really to, you know, make them plan their future, but it's more about really getting them to explore and understand like what opportunities are out there, which is exactly what you've just said. So thank you.
So I would say that I think the syllabus needs to be updated. So I was in InnovateHer Mentor, and when we were teaching the Tech for Good program, it just kind of was a realization that what we're learning in schools, much like Daniel just mentioned with like elements of a cell, it just seems so outdated and so old-fashioned. And I think that when I was talking to the girls, they were just so intelligent, so clever, so driven, and so like aware of tech products, and so savvy. Like they had to tell me what TikTok was. I don't know what that is. Like they were just laughing that I was so like, what? They were really, really inspiring. And so I think if that could be reflected in the curriculum, that would just benefit everyone. And I know coding's kind of coming more into schools now, but if there was like a UX, even like an awareness of UX as a profession, that would just be amazing. So I think we've got a long way to go for that. Thank you, Steph.
So I think you pretty much covered off a lot of the things I was thinking anyway, but I think like one of the things that we should focus on, and it's because it touches pretty much any role, is like problem solving and enabling people to actually solve problems, whether that's within code or whether it's within kind of research things or whatever it is that you might be doing in design. Then actually if we can enable people to have problem solving skills, they can pretty much approach any problem that comes to them and try and go for it that kind of way. So yeah, problem solving would be my one.
Thank you so much. So that is the end of the InnovateHer panel. If you do have any other questions for our team, or if you would like to find out more,
How do people get involved?
how do people get involved? So your company can support the schools program through our membership. You can volunteer to mentor on a schools program. And also you can just get the word out there and really support us across any social media channel and share our mission. So if you would like to find out more, obviously, about mentoring, this is the link. But also, if you're interested, if you think your company would be interested, obviously come and chat to myself or anyone on the InnovateHer team, and we have tons of leaflets and things to give out, which can give you a real good insight into what's involved. So yes, please just come and chat. And thank you all for your time.